What's up, guys? My name is Dwayne Sherrill, and this is My Wife as a Board Gamer, a show about my love for my wife, my love for board games, and what I'm doing to bring the two together. So I recently talked about dice games, and I mentioned a game called Machi Koro. Machi Koro is one of the first games that I got my wife to check out. And she was like, hey, can we play that tonight? So we brought it to the table. We played a couple of games. And what we learned is Machi Koro is better at 3 or 4 players. It's a great game, but it does have take that in it. And it being just the two of us, we had each other as targets. So that didn't really go over too well. Now, I also mentioned a game called Space Base. Now, I don't own this game, but I have a gaming buddy, hi Deb, who loaned me her copy and said, hey, let's see if your wife would like this one better. So we brought it to the table, and you know what? I'm going to keep you in suspense. Let me go to the table and give you an overview of how this game plays. So in Space Base, each player is going to get one of these player boards, which represents their own space station. And each space station has docks numbered 1 through 12. Each player is also going to get 12 starting spaceships that are already docked in their designated spots. At the bottom of the board, there are these tracks. There is a coin money track, there's an income track, and a victory point track. And these cubes are used to measure how much you have of each. And this is the marketplace of cards that are available for purchase for all the players. You have your level 1, level 2, and you also have your level 3. Now, of course, level 1 are the least expensive, whereas level 3 are the most expensive, but they have more powerful abilities that will go off on your space station. So each of these cards, they have in the left-hand corner is how much it would cost to buy this spaceship. So this spaceship would cost 3 coin. At the upper right-hand corner is the number of the dock that you would slide it in onto your space station. So this card would slide into your dock 6 on your board. So let's take a closer look at the player board. So Space Base is pretty much a dice chucking game. You're chucking dice and using the pips, the results of the dice, to activate ships in your space station. Now, at the very beginning of the game, the first thing we do is we set our coin at 5. We set our income and our victory points both at 0. And then each player going clockwise will draw a random card off the level 1 deck. So I drew this. It's a number 1. So I would slide this into slot 1, but I would take the ship that's already there, flip it over, and slide it underneath the player board and put this ship here. And judging by the number that I drew, whoever has the highest number will be the first player and get this first player token. Okay? So, of course, I drew a 1, so more than likely I'm second, third, fourth player. Now, on each of these cards, there's a blue area, red area. So the blue area, if you roll a 5, then the blue area will activate. You're the active player, you're rolling the dice, the blue area will activate. So if you roll a 5, you will get 1 coin. The red area, which doesn't come into effect until this card is flipped over and tucked underneath, on other players' turn, when they roll the dice, and if they roll a 5, then you will activate the red area, so you will get 1 coin. So pretty much on every dice roll, something's happening. So let's say, for example, I'm the first player, okay? And I roll a 6 and a 2, all right? So I have 2 options. I could take this 2, activate this ship, and it will give me 1 coin. I could take this 6, activate this ship, and it will give me 1 coin. Or I could take the sum of the dice and make it an 8, and then activate the 8 ship, and that will give me 3 coins. So, of course, yeah, it would do me better to use the 8 to activate and get 3 coins. Oh, I forgot. When I drew this card, I still had to pay for it. So I spent 2 coins. Okay. Now, I activate this ship. I get 3 coins. 1, 2, 3. And then the last thing I can do on my turn is I have the option of purchasing a card from the marketplace and putting it into my space station. So let's say I decide to purchase this card, right? Which is a number 5. So I would take the number 5 that's there and deploy it into space by flipping it over, tucking it underneath the board, and then placing this card here. Now, I have to spend 3 money, but you don't get change back. So you're going to spend all your money. So my coin would go all the way to 0. Okay? So now, whenever somebody rolls a 5 on their turn, I will get 1 coin. Okay, so now this represents getting coin. This represents victory points. So whenever I will roll a 1, I will get 1 victory point. Okay, this card here shows that if I roll a 9, I would get income. So what income does is my income level will go up. So now I will always have an income of 1 at the end of my turn. So like I say, if I buy a card and when I buy the card, I spend all my money, don't get any change back, but then at the end of my turn, it comes back. So I got a coin income. So if ever my income's up here, I will always have 7 income. Okay. So pretty much what I'm trying to do. Oh, also, let's say I bought this card. Okay. I can stack them. So I will slide this under. So anytime somebody rolls a 5, I will get 2 coins. And if they roll double 5s, I get 4 coins. And that's pretty much what you're doing is deploying ships and putting new ships into your space station. That way you have more options that will happen whenever someone rolls the dice. So there are some cards in the marketplace that are available to purchase that I need to go a little bit more in detail about. So there's this card here that when you grab it, you will put it in your number 1 spot. And then every time you roll a 1, you will put one of these charge cubes on this space. So this card needs to charge up in order for it to go off. And once you charge it up, when you roll your dice, you can remove all those cubes and do that action. So you can swap your 6 or 7 and 7 sector card. Okay? Which is pretty much powerful. So here's one right here that you charge up, but the green ones, so you know blue activates on the active player turn, the red ones activate on the other player's turn, and the green ones activate on any player's turn. So this one, you can charge it up, and then this says you take the sum of the dice, and then you do the action next to it. So if the sum of the dice equals 9, you get to do the number 10 action, which could be a more powerful action in that slot. Also, this card here, this will just give you straight victory points. So you would spend 42 coins and slide this in the slot 12, and you will get 14 victory points right away. The thing about it is once this goes into that 12 spot, you cannot switch it out. You cannot replace it. It's pretty much just clogging up that space for the rest of the game. So these are things these are cards you probably want to play closer to the end of the game. So this is how my space station looks later on in the game. As you can see, I built myself quite an engine up. I've got more powerful ships in my space station, and I've deployed a bunch of ships. So on other players' turns, when they're rolling dice, I'm getting some kind of benefit out of it. So as you can see, I'm still getting these couple coins, and I'm using those coins to buy more powerful ships to put into my space station. Now, when a player gets to at least 40 points, that signifies the end of the game. And everybody is going to get an equal number of turns, and whoever has the most points at that time is the winner of Space Base. Okay, sweetie, how'd you like Space Base?
It was fun, especially since I beat you.
We played 2 games, you won 1. We came out even. Okay?
Anyway, I like that with every roll of the dice, something happens. Even when your opponents roll the dice, you get to do something. I really like that you have choices in your dice roll. So if I roll an 8 and one die is a 5 and the other one is a 3, then I can treat it as an 8 or I can treat it as a 5 and a 3. I really like that choice aspect of the dice rolling.
So how would you compare this to Machi Koro?
It wasn't as frustrating as Machi Koro, because in Machi Koro, there were some times when I would get penalized for rolling something, because if I rolled a 3, you got money from me, and that was frustrating. I didn't experience that frustration in Space Base.
Yeah, there are some cards in there that do in Space Base that does that, but you could easily just take those few out. So what I like about Space Base is, like, in the beginning you don't have an engine. You're buying cars and building up your engine, but once you get towards the end of the game, every dice roll is going to give you something. And so that's what I love about Space Base. And if you like dice chucking, this is the game to have. I like the theme of Machi Koro a little better, don't get me wrong, but game mechanic wise and fun wise, I like this one because it doesn't like take that towards my wife, because she don't feel that too much. So Space Base, its designer is John D. Clare. It is 60 minutes, ages 14 and up, plays 2 to 5. You can find this on Miniature Market at about $40. I would tell you to welcome this game into your group. This has been Dwayne
and Alicia,
my wife as a board gamer. If you like the content of this video, feel free to subscribe, press the like button, follow me on Instagram and Facebook at my wife as a board gamer, and I will see you, or we will see you next time.